Celtic are champions!
Hello and welcome to episode 93 of Celtic Rumours TV, the Bawz and Bovril podcast with your host Mark and myself Paul. You can check out all the links to the podcast in the description below. You can also check out the forum page to the podcast at www.celticrumours.co.uk, where all Celtic supporters discuss all things Celtic. On tonight's show we will look at today's match reaction and stats against Aberdeen on Flag Day at Celtic Park. Celtic chairman Ian Bankier will retire from his role as Celtic chairman on January the 1st, and could long-term CEO and not a fan favourite Peter Lawwell return to the role as chairman. Firstly though, before we move on to the show, I'll hand off to Mark for the usual shout-outs.
Thanks very much, Paul. Quick shout-outs to usual Tim Alloy and Richie and his family. We are Glasgow Green. I think that's the aim. Don't take a life chance, see who's in. There's evening Joseph, Steph boys in the night as well. Jabba, he's always here. Brian, hail brother. Bobby Sutherland's in as well. Nice to see you, Bobby. Just about everybody that's in. With subs no, Steph's charity thing. One of the lads, Steph, that's in the live chat there, he's doing a sponsored walk up Ben Nevis for St Andrew's Hospice later 20th or 22nd August or something it is, and he's got a Just Giving page for sponsorship. There's a link in the description box below, so if you can afford to give anything, please do. It's gone to a great cause. I'm sure everybody knows the good work that St Andrew's Hospice do, and big up Steph for doing that. Wouldn't it be mean if you've seen Steph? I don't know how he's going to handle that. We're up at 587 subs, brilliant. We're just sneaking up. So a wee shout out as usual to VOG Opinionated Glaswegian that mentions his own all the live streams that he's on doing his modding jobs and that one. So thanks very much for the help me get it out there and that, OG mate. Right, bud.
That's it.
Aye, that's us, Paul.
So Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. Welch and Yasser with the scores. The starting lineup was Hart, Jovanovic, Vickers, Welch, Taylor, McGregor, O'Reilly, Hayate, Yasser, Kyogo and Megida. The stats for the game was shot Celtic 21 to Aberdeen's 5. On target was 9 to Celtic, 3 to Aberdeen. Possession 69 to Aberdeen's 31. Passes was 682 passes to Aberdeen's 391. 88% accuracy. And according to these stats, I don't know what game Chris Boyd was watching. He said fair juice to Aberdeen. They came and had a goal, Mark.
Couldn't you believe that, Paul? I really couldn't believe that when I heard them saying that. I mean, apart from that 10-minute spell at the end of the first half, we had them pinned back. It wasn't as if I'm not saying they weren't trying, and that wasn't maybe the tactics that Goodwin's wanted to go with, but the way we were playing, we just had them pinned back for apart from the 10 minutes to full game. We had them pinned in their own area, and they'd 11 men behind the ball really. So I don't know. It's Chris Boyd for you really, isn't it?
Exactly.
He's never going to give Celtic any praise. There's always whenever he says something, there's just always a but at the end of it. Do you know what I mean?
A great start by Celtic. Stephen Welch opened the scoring within the first minutes. There was some slick passing mark in the first half. Johnny Hayes, for me, he missed the sitter.
That broke my heart, man. Two good chances, Paul, didn't he? They broke my heart if he'd scored.
The starting lineup, Mark, like it was the starting lineup we predicted anyway. But is this going to be the starting lineup you think that Andrew's kind of be going? And I know he could rotate between Giamarcus and Kyogo. I know Starfelt is still to come in there, but bar those two, do you think this is going to be his starting lineup?
I think it. Well, I think that's going to be. Paul, I still think that Greg Taylor's the first choice left back. I still think Greg Taylor is the first choice left back. I don't. I think this wee. How is it you say it, Paul? The wee Argentinian guy.
Barnabeo.
Aye, him. I don't think he's a. I think he's got to be a cracking player, even for what I've seen on YouTube and that. But I still think Greg Taylor's the number one left back. And it's up to the wee Argentinian to take it off him, basically.
But Mark, if you look right, there's been an approach from Udinese in January for Welch. Toulouse recently had a bid reject of 3.5 million. Right, the first it was a loan deal with a buyout clause of 3.5 million, and rejected it because he said Stephen Welch is a part of the squad. He broke into the first team last season. He's had a great pre-season. The absence of Starfelt there, could Steve Welch push Starfelt for this number one spot, Mark? The partner, Cavan Vickers, the way he's playing at the moment. Take out the goal, Mark. Just his defending. I thought he was immense today.
I thought he did a great game. I'm a big Welsh fan, you know that, Paul.
And look at the player he was up against, Mark. Mavoski.
Aberdeen they had a few big lads in there. They're no way Aberdeen will have the season they had last season this year, Paul. There was some decent players in that team, and just says there was some right big units in there. They're not going to get bullied about with many teams, I don't think. But Welsh, I don't see why Welsh isn't been. Maybe Angie's told them. He's obviously told him he's part of the plans to when they've turned down these offers, but he's maybe said to him, look, I'm looking for a solid partner. I'm not saying Starfelt, I think Starfelt's another great player, but I'm looking for whoever's going to be the best partner for Carter Vickers. So it's up to you whether you want to be on the bench as we're back up or whether you want to strive to try and fight him for that jersey. The choice is yours, but I just don't understand why Celtic fans are so against not just Wales, Paul. We speak about it. Any young player that comes through, they just seem to be, if they're not the top of their game, they just seem to take.
Do you know what, Mark? I said a great point to you about Welch. All right, Abada's only 19. All right, and we signed him from abroad, and Abada's been sensational since he came. What if we bought Stephen Welch from a foreign club and he was 19? And he was putting this displays in for Celtic as a 19-year-old. Wouldn't he get the same slick?
No, it would be a different story altogether. I mean, we've said Ange obviously likes him and sees a player that he can mould to play the way he wants the game to be played in that. And I mean, he's a big lad himself. You know what I mean? He's strong in that, Paul. So it's his. See, even with Starfelt's fit, Paul, I kind of say it all the time. It comes to a point and it's like, you've got to win your jersey back. So exactly, the more that Welsh is playing...
We were saying that, Mark, for ages with Julian. But Julian has improved to get the jersey back, do you get me? Julian has to dismantle Stephen Welch. Firstly, and then dismantle...
Well, where was Julian the day?
Exactly, not even in the squad. The new signing was there, Mark, weren't they?
Even Avenue and... Even in Avenue, regardless of Welsh he's been decent or not, he's been doing well in my opinion, but can we let him go for the Euro squad drills? That might be something as well, but I don't think that would come into it. The guys, I mean, if you're getting £3.5 million, what was it, £3.5 million bids, Paul? If you're getting £3.5 million bids for a young player that's just making his breakthrough in the team, if Celtic, that's a decent offer for Celtic, really.
If it was Celtic of old, Mark, Welsh be gone.
Oh, definitely, I think so, Paul, because he is still considered a bit part player. He's still trying to find his, do you know what I mean, find his feet in the first team squad and stuff like that. So if I keep saying, Paul, if you're good enough to play in Serie A and good enough to play in League One, good enough to play down in England, you're good enough to be in the Celtic squad.
I saw the importance too, Mark, of having Cavan Vickers in the back line. There was the second half, it was near the end, and Aberdeen were counter-attacking and Vickers was the only one behind.
He showed some pace to get back.
But did you see him screaming
he was raging.
Yeah, he screamed at Taylor and Welch that they were pushed up too far. He screamed at they left him wide open. Like not just like, you can see why Cavan Vickers has to be the number one centre back. It has to be Cavan Vickers, or do you get me? It can't be Welsh or Starfelt, I don't think, or do you know what I mean? Again, because we saw that partnership early on in last season. Mark Cam Vickers is the number one.
It's
It's
got
just the
to be,
importance
as
he
long as
brings
he's
to that defence,
as long
Mark,
as he's
yeah.
fit, as long as he's fit. I mean, fingers crossed, touch wood. You're not want to see Carter Vickers getting injured, you know, because he is the kind of rock that it's going to be him and another that's going to be that central defence. It's going to be the most effective for us, I think. Just even the way you read the way he reads the game in that, Paul. I'm actually surprised, Paul. See, for what he's shown when he's came to Celtic, I'm really surprised that no other team took a punt on him.
Definitely, Mark.
He played, for me, I mean, I said it the other week, he reminds me so much of Paul McGrath back in the day. It's just, see the experience of the way he reads the game in that for a guy that basically he's quite young for like a major centre defender,
like
do you know what I mean?
He's been around Spurs as a big part squad player, not even a squad player, like, but he's trained with the best of coaches. Do you get me? One of the best defensive coaches, Mark, was Jose Mourinho. Do you know what I mean? Like he's been with Pochettino when he was at Spurs. He's a young lad that came through the Spurs setup, and Spurs do produce good young players. Like so, like as you said, yeah. Like I'm surprised no one has taken a chance on him. It's Celtic's benefit, Mark. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we've certainly won a watch with signing him. We really have.
But we saw it, like,
Paul, we even agreed. I mean, Jota's a brilliant signing to get him out of the board, out of the line. But
Vickers was
we said
number one,
it, that was the main number one. We had to get Carter Vickers back in during the summer, and we've done it. Plus, more than
that would have scared me today, Mark. That would have scared me today, Welch and Julian. That would have scared me today. If we wouldn't have signed Vickers, Mark, that would have scared me, Welch and Julian. Not so much Welch, but Julian.
Well, maybe, surely it would have been the big German boy.
I don't know, Mark. I think he needs another couple of games. It's going to be the same with Starfelt, Mark. People are saying
maybe when you've started.
People are saying
I know what you're saying.
Starfelt is fit and he's ready to go. But Starfelt, like we saw with players last season, Mark, who didn't have a pre-season. Do you get me?
Aye. But Angie self said that he would be joining up with the first team squad last week, and he did. So he's back foot training with the first team squad, and he's just not been fit enough for the day's game. But I expect him over the next maybe week or so, he'll definitely be back in the squad. No doubt about it.
One thing I noticed, Mark, like we saw this in pre-season, and
they're really encouraging Steph to drink, Paul.
Jesus Christ, it's only 7 o'clock, Steph.
How many has he had already?
Not that bad, that he has to hit the shop for the bottle already. But we said it, Mark, like through pre-season when we were doing the podcast pre-season, how fit we looked, and I know we couldn't see some city goals and get them out of the system during pre-season, but the passing today, Mark, like not just the passing, but when someone receives the ball, the movement off the ball, I thought was amazing. Like there was always a free man to receive, and that's the way Ange wants to play. He wants the players to be free to receive the ball. I thought our passing today, Mark, was just slick.
It was. Even Paul, many times was it we were actually just like flicking the ball over their head and stuff like that as well. So we're not just looking for we're looking for different ways of passing, different ways of getting by players and breaking teams down and things like that. And the variety in that as well. It was a hard fought game. We had to fight hard to win it. And again, Paul, about we need a kind of physical side to ourselves. Aberdeen were big and physical today, and
we took it, yeah.
And we only they had 11 fouls and we had 12 or no, they had 12 and we had 11, so we were doing as good as we can get in that department. And the passing, it was brilliant to watch. It really was. Some of the passages they played today.
It was great, Mark. Like to get the first goal already, like within 2 minutes. Like I just turned it on. I was just home and I just turned it on. Like there is bangs. Welsh gets the goal. Like it opened it up. But even after that, Mark, like Aberdeen still continued, I think, to sit back. I mean, they never really threatened Celtic or I'm surprised because I thought Goodwin wouldn't sit back against Celtic. Do you know what I mean?
A couple of decent half chances, Paul, on the counter attack and stuff like that, but as I said earlier, it was just 11 men behind the ball for a good 75, 80 minutes of the game. And I'd see what we're saying, Paul, that some of the bigger players they hadn't that. See if they maybe had a go, they maybe would have got something out of that game when it was at 1-0.
But it was always scary,
But
Mark. They
games
haven't won it like in this.
It's always a bit dodgy, but
But
once the second goal goes in, they're not going to come back for that.
Just Mark, that second goal, Mark, I just like.
But the change, Paul, as well as
it changed it, yeah.
I know, but the change in the team. Like we've been on about managers need to come in and find a way to break down these teams that do this kind of defensive.
He made the 3 subs like Ange.
And he done it. Do you know what I mean? Ange he's doing it. He's finding ways to break down these teams.
But Mark, the question is Jota better on the opposite side where he started today? Is he better on the left? Is it on the right? Is he better on the right?
I don't think it makes much difference, Paul. I think they're just whoever the two wingers are going to swap out as the game progresses, and that seems to be the way.
He can't do that shot. You get me on that side.
Aye.
It's his weaker foot. You get me? But Mark, that goal today was just like that's a contender already for goal of the season and goal of the month. It's just.
Taylor, there's Bobby saying about Taylor. I thought Taylor was brilliant today as well. He seems to be if you look back, right, I know a lot of people didn't like him. I liked him just because he was a decent defender and he gave everything he had. But see if you look back over the last year under Ange and the way he even played today in the pre-season, that Paul, he's a vastly improved player for us as well. Agree with that? No.
Oh, definitely not.
Just the way you know.
I was reading it. I was reading when he was saying it. He put in one cross, Mark, and he put into the danger in the second half, and Aberdeen cleared it, and he had the right go at Marcus over it, and he had the right go, where's your movement? Do you know what I mean? It was a pinpoint pass into the box on the ground that Marcus would live off. Do you know what I mean?
Pedro, and nice to see you, Pedro. David as well. Thanks for coming in.
Like I'm always saying about Radisson, Mark, getting down to the byline, but Taylor was getting down to that byline today, and he was putting in
putting in quality. But that was one of the things people used to use against Taylor. He couldn't put the ball into the box, wasn't it? So
he put the ball in. Yeah, exactly. Like Sky Sports said, Mark, I think it was around the 60th minute, 28 crosses into the box.
Aye.
Like that's impressive. But as you said, Mark, 28 crosses into the box to who?
Just Kyogo. See if Giacomakis had started the game today, Paul, I think we'd have won a lot more comfortably. I really do.
Even
when we're talking about crosses into the box, Paul, the one we were speaking about before we came on the live, the one for Ralston.
So go on, sorry, go on.
No, just that the cross when Ralston came on and Giacomakis came on, and I think it was actually the first cross Ralston hit into the box, Paul, and Giacomakis did get on the end of it. He didn't get in for dues, but he won the header. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
That's what you've got to look. But if you're going to be putting 28 crosses into the ball in the first hour of the game, into the box.
So last season, Mark, right, of Ralston's assists to Giacomakis was 9 assists alone just to Giacomakis. And in the substitutions, when he brought on Giacomakis, he brought on Ralston as well at the same time. And I said to you off here, do you think Ange actually knows the effect that Ralston brings to the team by getting down to that byline, that he's the one that can provide assists for Giacomakis?
Paul, if he's doing it that way, he must have noticed that. I mean, if we're noticing
the data's there, Mark. We have the data now, do you know what I mean?
If we're noticing it, Gavin Stratton will be noticing it. Do you know what I mean? That's something that Ange.
Because I thought it was.
I mean, Paul, be honest. See if Ralston was playing, would you go out and spend that money on Juranovic now?
I don't think so, Mark. No,
no.
Radisson surprised everyone, Mark, and I think he even. I think Ange was talked about Radisson, Mark. Look, not the best of players. Do you know what I mean?
But I mean, I think we'll all agree on it, Paul. He only got a year's contract because there was nobody else there.
There was no one there, yeah.
It's just, the turnaround in Ralston is unbelievable. I mean, you could never question his commitment in that, but I mean, remember he had Neymar in his back pocket for a game against Barcelona. So
Yeah,
is
exactly,
it
Mark.
always been there, and it just needed somebody to
You just
tweak
needed
it,
a man
tweak
to
it out
Mark,
and
like, but
to
Mark,
trust him?
the problem is, and it's going back to what we were constantly saying, is that we had managers who just wouldn't trust the youth system, who just wouldn't trust it. You know, you had Brendan Rodgers, who we said for years, Mark, was the checkbook manager. Do you know what I mean? And you'd need Lennon, who preferred to get a loan deal to show that he's signing players rather than give a youth player a
Aye.
chance. Do you know what I mean? I think,
It's been neglected for years, Paul.
well, most definitely, Mark. Yeah, definitely. He's been, but like, as you said there, Mark, like his first touch of the ball was, and this practically nearly assist to Giamarcus. And my thinking is that, Mark, like there was no need for Ange today to take off Ivanovic, because Ivanovic had a fine game. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, he played well. He was doing well enough. Aye,
There was no need for him to take off.
I think that's a new name there, Paul. Eddie McWilliams. I don't remember seeing that.
No,
Thanks for joining us, Eddie.
Did they say that? Did he say his name to us, Mark, in Discord the other day to us, Eddie McWilliams? I'm sure that's one of the lads in Discord.
Oh,
to
is
us.
it? Right, fair
Yeah.
dues, right.
Eddie, if you can just say
thanks for coming in anyway.
Yeah, if you can just say who you are there again on the phone page, because we know him actually very well, Mark. He's on the forum as well with us.
Right.
You know.
Doesn't need to say if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, he has to, Mark. Right, we've got no funds on this page. You know, but 2-0, Mark, first game of the season, and for me, it was going back to last season, Mark. I'm starting to see the full effect of Ange at Celtic.
Well, that's what they said was going to happen, wouldn't it? It would take a year for him to get everything up to speed and stuff like that, sir. That's just what everybody was expecting, Paul. There's a new listener here, John Lamond. Thanks for listening, John.
And also, Mark,
Hail, bud.
well,
see, you've a safe trip, mate, if you're bouncing about in Glasgow looking for taxis.
Exactly, man. And also, Mark, what we saw as well is we saw it in pre-season, but we saw in clips today, but not as the effect Joe pre-season. Joe Hart was playing the sweeper keeper, but he played it well today as he didn't come up as far as the halfway line, which I said, and you said, Mark, there's no need for him to be up there, but he did play it well today, and people who were questioning Joe's Hart feet, I thought Joe Hart is getting, I think Joe Hart's getting more and more comfortable, Mark, with his feet.
But did you see how many times some Aberdeen players had a big heavy punt up the park, Paul, trying to what we spoke about the other night?
But he was there then, Mark.
But that's what we're saying. We were expecting teams are going to try that, and all it takes is for me lucky once with it.
But that's what I'm saying, Mark. Do you think the experience that Joe Hart has is that he knows himself when to push up that far and when not to push up? Because we're speaking of a keeper who today got 250 clean sheets, Mark, in his career, which is phenomenal, Mark, for a goalkeeper. 250 clean sheets. Like Joe Hart knows himself, Mark, when to push up and when not to push up. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, will come with experience, Paul, but it also comes down to ability, and that's where a bit of the problem comes in, some of the hairy moments that he's put himself in.
It's like, there will be time.
She's got a friend. Friends. Oh, football friend.
Football
George,
friend.
my pal.
Jumping on, he's not my friend, when she's jumping on someone's car, then outside the drive. Football friend, I have to watch that again now, actually. But, you know, do you agree, Mark, with Ivanovic being, Jota being man of the match?
Oh, aye, definitely. Either him or wee Matt Orley it was for me, Paul. I thought he did a good game as well today.
I thought O'Reilly controlled the game, Mark.
He seemed to be the man that was pulling the strings in that.
Barry Ford says that Cal McGregor needs to be in there to control the game, but for me today it was O'Reilly that was controlling the game with his passing, his ball control. He was on top of everyone with the ball. He was tackling. I thought O'Reilly was brilliant today, Mark. Really did.
He's going to be some player for us. He really is. Paul.
Big
I really
player,
like
Mark,
him.
definitely. Yeah, as I was saying to you, just off air, like, is that going to be the rotation between them? Is it going to be O'Reilly, Hiase, Moy will be kind of the rotation for Riley, and Turnbull will be the rotation for Hayase. Because
It could
everyone was
be.
expecting Moy to fill in for Cal McGregor's role today, but he actually slotted straight into O'Reilly's role. He didn't actually sit in that
That's the
deeper role.
thing, but Paul, that's the thing about it. It could be any one of them in any day positions, really, couldn't it? They're Welsh
But
saying
could Riley
they're
slot into
Welsh
that
saying
role,
about
Mark,
this.
seeing that he's not afraid to go into a tackle, Mark? O'Reilly into that Cal McGregor role, do you think?
He probably could. He probably could to let McGregor move up the field a
Even
bit.
what Terence was saying, Mark, before, they're like Turnbull, who should have got a third goal today, Mark. A bit of ball control. That was a miss, though, wasn't it?
For me, Turnbull's just like the replacement for Rogic, Paul. With me and you've said it before. The midfield of McGregor, Turnbull and Rogic, it just never worked. So now that Rogic is away, that's that kind of role that Rogic done in the team. That's his now. Do you know what I mean? That kind of way. And Rogic is, for me, Turnbull's a lot more. He's got a bit more dig about him and a bit more energy than Rogic has, but maybe not skillfully, technically. But that's that position for me. The way Rogic played in the team is where Turnbull should be playing. What about that we will share about the subs, Paul? Because I thought that. He thought he left it late for the subs. I thought the game was screaming out for Big Gio, really. I thought that was the difference.
Especially, Mark, I thought when Sky Sports said in the 60th minute we 28 crosses into the box, and they would go like Kyogo, and I think people need to understand this, Mark, but he's not an out and out striker. We say be a centre forward, Mark, but he's not like a Giamarcus, Mark, that lives off these balls into the box. And I'm surprised, actually, Mark, that we played that way today with Kyogo in the box, because when Kyogo's in the team, Mark, we kind of play a different way. We kind of keep the ball on the floor, and Kyogo makes that movement for the players to come in around him. But it seemed very different today when we were just putting these, and to be fair, Mark, they were decent crosses. Like, these just one pumping the ball into the box for the sake of it. Like, they were pinpoint crosses, screaming out for
a target man, somebody beyond the end of them. It was a weird approach, what you're saying there, Paul.
That's why I'm surprised, Mark, why we played that way today with Kyogo. Because we never did play that way before with Kyogo. Do you get me?
No, it just says it's all the wee passing about the box and Kyogo gets an opening, and that's the way they play. Whereas you put crosses into the box and stuff like that. I mean, Kyogo's, for me, Paul, I would say Kyogo's no get the kind of like the predatory instinct the same as Giacomakis has got. I mean, the many goals that Giacomakis scored was first, like the one touch. I mean, that's a natural goal scoring ability. You can't learn that, Paul. That just comes naturally to players. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Kyogo's a lot more probably skillful and that kind of way.
Mark. I mean, Kyogo likes to run. Do you get me? He likes that true ball put in. Do you get me on the floor? Likes that wee little pass. Do you know what I mean?
Is that what you would call a false nine, Paul? That's what
I was saying, Mark. Yeah, he's not an out and out number 9. Do you get me? Because he will get your goals in that position, Mark. He'll get you them, like, but I wouldn't think it'd be one of his strengths, like. But Giamarcus then is the opposite. That's his strength. Do you get me? Like, how many one-touch shots did he get last season, Mark? 14, 15? Do you know what I mean?
Pedro saying every goal bar 2 last season were one touch for him. I mean, that's what I'm saying, Paul. You can't teach that.
Yeah.
That's just natural. Go
an
old-fashioned poacher, isn't it? Really, that's what it is.
Like a Van Nistelrooy, Mark, of the Manchester United back in the day, but a bit more skillful, because Van Nistelrooy had no skill in my opinion. Welchie is saying also bad, and needs to start on the right. He's our best. I agree with that. And just Welchie, before you came on, I was saying, is Yota better on the left hand side as well? I think that's the strength, Mark, there. I think, for me, I know Yota, Mark, is an outstanding player and stuff like that, but I don't think we get the full effect of him on the right hand side.
No, and I would like to see what you've spoke about it before, Paul, with Kyogo, but even I would like to see them playing like through the middle, like your old-fashioned
behind,
kind of
yeah.
number 10 kind of roles,
behind.
Paul.
I like to see Maida
behind
Mark
Giacomakis.
Yes, yeah, in the Hayata role or O'Reilly role, and see what he can do there with his runs. Do you know, I think he'd be dangerous there, you know, because that's where we saw Mark in our clips was one from those positions. Do you get me?
It's definitely. I mean, Maida's definitely not a striker. We found that out ourselves last season, but just playing him in that kind of central attacking midfielder number 10 kind of role, but just working with a bit of magic to break down these defences, I think Maida and Kyogo would be a lot more effective in there. They're kind of Larson Sutton partnership type. I mean, Larson.
Do you think he'd ever go two up front, Mark? Do you think Andrew would ever go two up front? Kyogo and Giacomakis.
But that's right. It doesn't need to be the kind of two up front.
Behind number 10, yeah, exactly.
It need to be like a kind of back to the kind of 4-2-3-1 kind of thing, some description or some difference. But it would be like you'd be the four. I mean, Ange would probably tweak it and he'd only have like a 4-1 something. Do you know what I mean? It'd probably be more attacking, but have like an attacking three behind Giacomakis, say like Jota, Maida, Kyogo and Abada on the other wing. Do you know what I mean? That would I think that would be devastating really for Celtic if they went for something like that, Paul, with the players that we've got in the team and that, you know. I don't think Ange will do it, but you never know.
You never know, Mark. Do you know what? I think Ange has surprised us a lot since he came in, but
because it's only formations, Paul. It doesn't. I mean, the way he wants the game to be played and stuff like that will still remain the same. It's just the actual formations and personnel on the pitch.
I don't think Denmark,
the attacking style will still be built for the same.
I don't think Denmark, because of that formation, Ange won't be able to do what he calls the inverted full backs, because he'll get too cramped. Do you get me?
Aye.
You know, he'd be too cramped in the middle of the field. And then the way Ange is playing this way, Mark, is because he's creating that space. Do you get me? There's space for the players to move around. And I think if he changed the formation, Mark, Ange would have to change his style of play, because he won't have that. He won't have the space that he wants the player to move around to receive the ball. Do you get what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. Aye.
You know, so I think
it's a good problem to have. Let's not be kidding. Because I mean, Kyogo.
Back, there's so many different players that know with Celtic that we have, and could play.
It could probably aye, and every one of them would be good enough to do what it's going to do this season and win the league.
Fitness-wise, Mark, how do you think we were? We were saying last season we didn't have that thing. We were picking up injuries, kind of out through the early parts of the season. We had a good pre-season under Ange. Did you see a difference in us compared to last season? I know it's only the first day back, but
no, definitely put in some shift, Paul, for the full 90 minutes. So many players never stopped running for the full 90 minutes.
Taylor, Mark. Especially
Taylor. Welsh again never stopped. And none of them, you could see it, Paul. They were hunting the ball, especially in the first half. They were hunting the ball in packs, Paul. Every time Aberdeen players had the ball, there was 2 or 3 players right in about him, snapping at his heels. One of them, I can't remember if it was in the first half or no, and it was getting like out towards the wing, and it was Taylor and Maida chasing the boy down. I actually thought it was a foul, but Taylor came away with the ball. Do you know what I mean? That shows you that the players will need to be fit to keep that up, Paul. Can't keep it up for 90 minutes. Nobody can do that.
That's why he wants this big squad, Mark, isn't it? That's why the intensity that he plays. He knows he needs 2 players for that position. You know.
And Bobby saying, I really like the inverted fullbacks, but I'm sure like myself, everyone else wasn't too sure of it initially. I'm still not too sure. Don't start Paul on about it again, but Jesus, Bobby, man, please.
Just say to you, how many times have I went through this with you on air and off air? It's like trying to explain the offside rule to your wife. with me trying to explain this inverted fullbacks.
I've got the gist of it now. after a year. That thing we were talking about yesterday, Paul, what was it, that XG thing?
Or the X goals and the.
Aye, and what was it? This big spiel some boy you put on Twitter, the XG goals with Livingston and this and that, and I didn't have a clue what this guy was meaning. And Paul basically said it just means they've had more shots on target. Rangers were shooting for distance and it was going nowhere, and Livingston were getting more shots on target. Why could he not just say that?
You know, they just have to be fancy, Mark.
Aye,
But
is that expected goals?
Expected
I mean, how
goals,
can you?
Mark,
How the hell can you have an expected goal stat in football, Paul?
no, you can't, Mark.
I mean, you can't. They're an expected goal.
These are the people, Mark, who I said to you that blocked me because I tore into them because their stats were wrong, and I proved that they were wrong, and they blocked me. These fellas blocked me because I was like, "You're wrong here," like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Johnny Hayes, Super Johnny Hayes, the day. For me, that was an expected goal. When that ball fell to Super Johnny Hayes, Paul, I expected that to get in the net.
Exactly, Mark. Yeah, exactly.
That, for me, that's an expected goal. Do you know what?
And you know what, Mark? I'm surprised Johnny Hayes didn't score that. I really, really am, considering like the goals these are the type of goals that Johnny Hayes scored for Celtic. Do you get me?
Aye. I mean, it was a bad miss. They're Welsh. He's got an expected drink ratio.
But you know what, Mark?
He Einstein to work that one out, I think.
I was looking at Johnny Hayes today, Mark, and Johnny Hayes now is well into his 30s, Mark.
35, Paul.
Yeah, if we didn't sell him, Mark, he would still have a role to play on the edge because of his speed.
His speed and his energy.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
for a 35-year-old, he's still putting in a good half shift.
Mark. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was one of the signings I thought Neil Lennon made a big mistake, considering how bad we were at the back of Neil Lennon's 10 in the row season, that he left Johnny Hayes go. You know?
Aye.
You know, it really was.
For me, he was a good, reliable, solid player, Paul. He was never going to. Do you know what I mean? He knew what he was, and all the fans knew what he was. And you can't fault his commitment and his work rate.
Oh, definitely.
I've no qualms at all with what Johnny Hayes done for Celtic. No qualms at all.
Just want to quote something there, Mark, for the lads there, and look, hats off there to the Green Brigade there today, and all the lads involved in that tie for today, Mark, was just something else. You know what I mean? They really made
different class.
And these are fellas who are just living off donations from Celtic supporters, and everyone involved should hold their hand up.
Even the time, Paul. Imagine the time that they've done it and put
exactly,
into.
Mark.
No, just to getting everything sorted out before they get to Celtic Park.
Yeah, Mark, like to lay it out like the way they had it, like to lay that out, like. Do you know what I mean? Like that tie for today, Mark, was just brilliant. Like, it just shows
why they're the best fans in the world, bud.
And what they do for Celtic, Mark. Do you know what I mean? I know they get a bit of stick and stuff like that, but for me, Mark, Celtic Park would be nothing without them. It'd be nothing without them.
No.
You know, and it really wouldn't, like.
People that go on about they bring bad names. So you've got to remember, this is a crowd of young lads.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? This is mostly young guys in their 20s, maybe their 30s and things like that are going out and doing this. Think about what other folk that age up to all sorts of nonsense, getting into trouble with, like, I know if I bother with the police with the Green Brigade, but I'm talking about actual serious bother and ending up in the jail and things like that. These young lads are collecting money, did so much work for charity with food bank collections and stuff like that. The amount of time they put into supporting Celtic, following them everywhere, collecting the money for tifos, sorting out the tifos, and then actually getting into the stadium and setting all that up. And they're getting nothing back out it, because let's be honest, they don't even show their faces. So it's not even as if you could see them in the pub and say, "Here, I'll buy you a pint, son." Do you know what I mean? You don't see their faces, and they're just. For me, if I was a younger lad, I'd be right in the middle of that, Paul. That was right up my street, really. Do you know what I mean?
It really was. Like, it was impressive. Like, I mean, it just shows what Celtic club is to the fans. Do you know what I mean? What they do for the club. You know what I mean? Like, Ange always said it, Mark. Celtic is not without the fans. Do you know what I mean? Football is not without fans, and I think Celtic proved that today. That football is not without fans.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
And we have got by far the best fans in the world.
Definitely, Mark. Definitely. Next game is we're away to Ross County, Mark. We know Malcolm McCoy is going to sit back. You know, that's his style of play. He's that manager. We saw today that to no effect the cross is going in. Does G Marcus come in next week, and maybe that will be the one change maybe I think he'd make to the team?
That's probably the one change I would make, Paul. That's probably the one change I would make out of who started today, unless there's any kind of injuries or that. But that's what, especially up there, as you said, it's going to be a packed defence again. And give Giacomakis the first kind of chance. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Get him get him in about them early doors with his physicality and stuff like that. And then if hopefully we'll be a couple of goals up. And then you can bring on Kyogo, and it's a case he can try his
Mark, when they're tired
stuff.
or something,
It's totally different approaches to the game, depending on who Celtic's got up in that position.
Yep. The tempo goes up another bit. Like, I think Hayase Mark was in the wars today. He got a few nasty tackles.
He took a few clatters, and then he went off for a burst mouth, wasn't it? Probably something to do with that daft gumps. Why does he get that daft guard thing?
You know, once again, like, he'd want to change that colour. It's fucking blue.
I was going to say that. Why is it blue? But why has he got? Is he problems with stuff like that before? Is he maybe not get any teeth?
He probably just doesn't want them broken, Mark. Just probably doesn't want them broken. He probably just got his teeth whitened off the NHS and his medical card, and just probably wants to keep them clean, I suppose.
No, but it's just usually for a player.
He was talking
kind of protective equipment, but into
he was talking to Ramsey when Ramsey left Rangers, and Ramsey was telling him the benefits he could get off the NHS. And that was one of them, teeth whitening. And he got his teeth whitened. Next he'd be going and getting a massage off and everything. Jesus Christ, like.
Botox and stuff. Botox.
I just want to pop back to them yesterday, Mark, right? And I don't want to dwell on them too much, but is there anything you saw from Shevko yesterday that we should be worried, because you got sticks saying you're confident Celtic will be will win the league, you're 100% will win the league, you backed your team, rightly so, you backed your team, but look at what you saw yesterday, Mark. Do we have something to be afraid of?
No. See when Livingston were winning 1-0, Paul, but did I message you? Even if they come back and win this game today, they've showed us nothing that we should be afraid of.
Exactly.
They were terrible.
Mark, if last season,
John
Stafford got slaughtered by the Scottish media, and Sousa had a worse display yesterday. And these are fellas who said Sousa is better than Carl Vickers when they signed him. What planet, Mark, are they living on?
See if they play Souter against the likes of Kyogo, or that, honestly, Kyogo tie him up like a UFC fighter with a pretzel. I swear to God.
He should have been sent off. Sousa should have been sent off yesterday.
I seen one of the lads saying that he'd recently lost his brother as well, which I don't know. That's not a very nice thing to happen to anybody. So fair do. God bless his brother and that. But why even no ask to no play then? If that's going to be, if it's playing on your mind or that, it's a bit of a strange one. I'm not really. Definitely. I don't like Soot as a player. There was talk a couple of years back Celtic fans wanted to sign him, and I was absolutely going livid with him. If you mind, Paul.
Exactly.
Aye, but I just don't rate him as a player whatsoever. No, and yesterday it just didn't seem to know what was happening. He just didn't seem to know what was going on round about him half the time. And the rest of it just.
They had to depend on having a goal, and for me that goal went in because it was positioning. The goalkeeper position, Mark, was all wrong. The wall, the way the wall was all wrong. I really can't. Like, I think if Celtic played the way we're capable of playing, Mark, I really can't see them getting close to us, and that's my opinion from the start of the season.
Well, I've no doubt Celtic will lose games here and there probably, do you know what I mean? But over the full season, there's nobody got to lay a finger on us in the league, no doubt about it in my mind. And as I said, we still didn't look up to full speed today, and we beat a good Aberdeen team today, Paul. We really did.
Aberdeen won't struggle this season, Mark. They won't struggle this season.
I said that earlier. They'll no struggle like they did last year.
That season, yeah.
And Aberdeen, it's always a hard game against Aberdeen. Do you know what I mean? It's one of the we've given them a few thumpings over the years, but in general, you get through it. You're playing Aberdeen, and you're always, that could be a tough game. You're always that's always in your mind, kind of thing.
And that's one
of the things as well, Paul. Exactly, that's us beat one of the kind of which went to be one of the better teams in the league already this season. So that's that game out the way. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to worry about.
Yasser loves playing against Aberdeen. That's
Aye.
5 goals now, Mark, in 4
Aye.
games against Aberdeen. Yasser has, and there's always a player, Mark, that loves playing against a team, and that team that Yasser seems to be playing against is Aberdeen. I just think, Mark,
Has England women won that thing?
we'll be blocked my ass with that.
No, it's just Jabber saying Google. Oh, he's better not be trying to porn bomb me here.
I think Mark, Yasser's just going to get better and better throughout the season. I really, really do.
We could name the players, Paul, that we're expecting big things for this season. Jota, wee Matt Orley, even down Kyogo. I mean, Kyogo missed a big chunky last season, so we're expecting big things for him. Giacomakis as well. Abada's another year older, do you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to seeing what Abada can put in this season, really, as well.
And to be fair, Mark, Abada, I know he missed kind of 1 or 2 chances, but his passing was on cue when he came on again. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's like, this is a strong Celtic squad. Like, it really, really is, Mark. From the players now that can come on, like you're taking off. Today he took off Kyogo, Maeda, and Hayate, and he brings on Turnbull, Giamarcus, he brings on Abada. Do you get me? You mean that's 3 players, Mark, you're bringing on, and it's not weakening your team, it's strengthening again. Do you know what I mean? You know?
That's Paul, that's players that would walk into any other team in Scotland.
Exactly.
But in a lot of other teams out with Scotland, did you get what I mean? There'd be that kind of thing. I mean, I said that to you about the bench. That shows you the depth of the squad, and not just the depth of the squad, the actual quality in the squad. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it just says if Turnbull's starting, it's going to be maybe Hatate on the bench. You've just ran your arse ragged for 60 minutes chasing Turnbull about a park, and then the next time you look, you're taking him off and bringing on Hatate or something like that. You're like,
exactly, or the opposite way around, Mark. You're tired after chasing and Turnbull's going to come on. Do you get me?
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? You know, like,
instead of your subs are just kind of fillers. Do you know? He's a bit tired. We'll get him off and just stick him on to keep things tight.
But my
and stuff
question
like
to you, Mark, is now always going to be, where does James Forrest fit into all this now, Mark, with this bench? I think James Forrest has gone down to third choice, Mark, or something like that, I say, see?
I don't even know, Paul, because the way Jans plays it, you're switching wingers between wings and stuff like that. You've got so many people in front of Forrest for a place, ain't you?
What's Welshie saying? Blow my nose. That's the Fanny effect, Egypt.
Oh, can they hear that? I can't hear that. He did ask me if I could hear it, but I can't. Blow your nose. You're a smooth talking man, Welshie.
We're going to dimmer the kind of atmosphere a small bit. Ian Bankier, Celtic chairman, has announced that he will step down as Celtic chairman on the 1st of January. Celtic have also confirmed this on the website. Bankier first came to the club as a director in 2011 and was appointed chairman later that year. Over the lasting 10 years as Celtic chairman, he said, "It's been a privilege and an honour to serve this club that I will always love and support for the rest of my days. Our aim has always been to deliver the highest standards on the pitch, off the pitch, and to give Celtic fans a club they can be proud of." So, Mark, the question is, over 10 years, has Ian Bankier delivered as a chairman, do you think?
No, Paul, just for me, he's got to take a part of the blame for what Peter Lawwell done for years. The things about qualifying for the Champions League and that, and not even trying to strengthen to get us qualifying for the Champions League. That's got to be the biggest thing that's been the biggest mess and fuck up at Celtic for years, really. I mean, we had clear runs at the Champions League every year there, Paul, and many times did we qualify for it? 2.
True. Like, Mark, this is coming from a father who's been there 10 years, right? And in his last year of Celtic chairman, Celtic brought in a manager, and the manager saw the problems at the club. He saw our academy was in dismissal. We had practically next to none. We had a sports science department, Mark, that wasn't working. You know, we We didn't even know what a data analysis was, in my opinion, or we never had a data analysis. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he said he's bought Celtic in to be a modern club, and I'm looking and going, what club are you looking at? Do you know what I mean? What club are you looking at leaving Celtic? You know, you for me, Mark, himself and Peter Lawwell, as you said, they were part of the problem. They've held Celtic back for years. We could have dominated Scotland for a long, long time.
It reminds me, Ian Bankier reminds me like a dodery old grandpa. That's what he reminds me of, Paul. I've spoke on this before and we've spoke about things in the boardroom. For me, no matter who was in that Celtic boardroom, even if Dermot Desmond was in there, if Peter Law walked into that room, he was the man, he was the messiah, they all listened to him. That's the way I've kind of perceived the way things have went. And Bankier's just sat there again like just a wee dodery old papa, just sitting in the corner at Christmas.
Even Mark, when he spoke at the AGMs, like, he didn't give you any confidence as a chairman. Everything was, no, we can't disagree with the Scottish FA. They have the rules. We can't disagree with the rules of the game. I mean,
can you remember reading it? On you go, Paul, sorry.
Like, he's the one, Mark, who should be, like, as chairman, Mark, he should be defending the club. Do you know what I mean? When we spoke to him about all these referees' decisions, he dismissed that.
Never mind the club, never mind the club, never mind the fans in that, Paul. Any company chairman that isn't looking after the interests of shareholders is at a fault, Paul. Do you know what I mean? He's in the business. People kind of get a wee bit muddled with that, but let's face it, Celtic are in the business of making money for the shareholders. That's basically what any business is, right? It's just lucky enough that we've got people that aren't they don't seem to be like driven. I mean, Dermot Desmond does alright out it, but it's no any great shakes. I don't think the money lifts out the club. And Bankier's just sat there and he let things happen. If I was in any other kind of business world, Paul, there's no way a chairman and a board would like step back and accept rules being broken and changed and bent to suit one of their main competitors. That's the main crux of it.
I just think, Mark, he was happy just to sit in the seat of the boardroom, wasn't he? Pick up his wage, and as you said, if Peter Lawwell said something, Mark, Bankier just went along with it.
Aye, definitely. I've no doubt in my mind that's what happened, Paul. Because I can remember reading as well, I'm sure it was Phil Mack that wrote about it. He met him at one of his first interviews or something like that and asked him about memories of Celtic, and the stuff he came out with was just absolute garbage. This guy Bankier didn't have a clue what was going on. I mean, we don't know the inner workings of the boardroom and how they work in that, Paul. Maybe he is a good, astute businessman, but for what the fans are seeing, was what we're seeing from your end, he was just a dead duck for me. Just the quicker he goes, the better. Please God, don't let Peter Lawwell be taking it there.
Many names are linked to it. Could this man, Mark, in my opinion, I think this the fellow who could fill this role is Dermot Desmond's son, Brett Desmond.
I think it's going to be one of them,
who has recently been attending Celtic AGMs for the last couple of years. Brett, who is married to Irish singer Andrea Cole and is already a director of Mountain Province Diamonds, which Dermot Desmond is the shareholder. The 40-year-old has been in attendance at Celtic matches as well recently. I think, Mark, it could be him. I think that there's a reason, Mark, and I think for some reason, I said it to you, Mark, when Peter Lawwell left, that Desmond will go soon. Not Desmond, Bankier will go soon. I said that to you. And I said to you that there's a reason why Dermot Desmond's son is going to these AGMs. Is it, what do you think, maybe he's lauding these roles as Celtic chairman? Because I think, Mark, the way Dermot Desmond was talking before, when he asked would he ever sell Celtic, and he said no. Celtic will be passed on to my legacy, my kids.
I've said that as well, Paul. I know one of his sons is a bit like us. You know what I mean? He's Celtic daft. It means a lot to him.
It's Brett Desmond, yeah.
So if that would be, I'd be quite impressed with that if he came in, Paul. I know again people will be like, oh, it's still jobs for the boys and that, but
Mark, at 42, he's director of a diamonds company. 42 years of age.
Aye, but
But
still,
this is
it's still daddy's
but
company,
but we want. But Mark, do you think Dermot Desmond is going to give something for his son? Don't the shrewd businessman that Dermot Desmond is, Mark, give a job for his son if he didn't know the ropes.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You know, he's
I think
actually...
there is. I mean, we've said that before, Paul. The son is definitely going to end up at Celtic in some capacity.
Because we thought it was going to be
Maybe the CEO, didn't we?
but I think that was kind of too big for him. Maybe Mark, as a director now, like he's doing this role as at one of his companies already. I think, Mark, that he could be the replacement there.
I mean, you know? it's not a full-time job, innit? No. I mean,
he won't be there like 24/7, Mark. That Nicholson won't be there. Do you get me?
Aye, that's it. The CEO. That's the CEO's job to 24/7. The board. Aye.
He would have to be called into the club every day, Mark. That's his job. He'd be in the club every day. But if there's no board meetings, Mark, I say Bankier is sitting in his office. Do you get me? Do you know what I mean? Or some days, Mark, I wouldn't even think he's at the club every day.
No, I don't think so.
You know,
I mean,
if it's just board meetings, Mark, he's there. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. That'll be it. Match days and board meetings and stuff like that. Whereas Nicholson or even Peter Lawwell, it was like the CEO's a 24/7 job. Do you know what I mean?
But at the moment, Mark, I say they have to be there 24/7 because of the transfer window being in effect. You get me? That they have to be in and around the club.
Who?
You know, Bankier. I think.
No. Why?
With the board members, Mark, and Nicholson, there, like they'd have to. It's all the boards. Like I know, CEO Mark goes with the decision, but in my company, Mark, if there's a pay rise, it goes to the CEO, and the CEO then puts that to the board members. Do you get me?
Aye, but that'll just be getting like at board meetings and that, Paul. There's no way Bankier's turning up to work for Celtic every day of the week. No.
For transfer window, I say he is, yeah, definitely.
Why?
I would think so, because I would expect it to be there, Mark. If a transfer came in.
What's he doing?
Told you, he's sitting in his office.
Just sitting there waiting on his phone ringing like your old that wee old dodery granddad at Christmas I'm talking about.
Sitting down with his Walters original.
Aye.
Sucking on his Walters original.
Watching the cricket on the telly.
The cricket, or he's renewed his season ticket out next season for Rangers.
But it's a good thing. And change. Paul, what company should be changing every few years anyway?
Can I ask you, like, he's been chairman for 10 years, right? Is it too long?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Unless it's just like an honorary chairman kind of position or something like that. But if you're in a decision making business end of a company the size of Celtic, things need freshened up, Paul. So even if the chairman stays longer, you freshen up underneath you.
Mm-hmm. But if you look down, like, remember we did the podcast, Mark, when the CEO, Peter Law stepped down as CEO. We did a podcast on our board members, right? And there was a lot of them there, Mark, in around the 10-year mark. I think the lowest person that was there was a girl. I think she was there only about 8 years. So a whole board has been there for a long, long time. Do you think that this could be the start of change at board level, Mark, that more people will be resigning or retiring?
Well, hopefully. As I say, Paul, you need to freshen things up and get a fresh look at things. And the business world changes, Paul.
That's why, Mark,
it's a totally different world now than it is to what Ian Bankier grew up in and
that's
worked
what I'm
his
saying,
time
Mark,
in.
Because, like, with the club changing now, right, and we've a young CEO in Michael Nicholson, like he's going to want people, Mark, that have his modern visions around him. Not, as you said, that people who have been there too long and these things have changed since Ian Bankier first came to the club. Do you get me? You know, like, has that been the reason, Mark, why we haven't moved along in a football department with likes of sports science and stuff like that? Maybe that these people thought like, oh, we're grand where we're
That was it,
going.
Paul. All these people,
We're
all
winning
these,
leagues. Do you mean that was? I think that was the point, Mark. We're winning leagues.
as long as we
Why
were
do
in
want to
front, as
change
long
it?
as we were in front of the team playing out at Ibrox, that was all they bothered about. There was no wider vision. There was no wider planning. There was nothing. As long as we were in front of them, that's all these guys cared about. Basking in wee parochial bits of glory while failing miserably the Celtic support, Paul, for many years, because the board have failed to support miserably. You can't deny that. That was great. We won 9 in a row. We won quadruple trebles, undefeated trebles and that, but it's still only in Scotland. Do you get what I mean?
We failed
took
in
the eye
York,
off the ball.
and for them to go on that cup run last season, Mark, and for how progressed Celtic are above them, Mark, we still haven't advanced in Europe, and that's the biggest problem.
No.
And for me, like going out, and I know people are saying Bobo Glimmers are a good team and stuff like that. Celtic should be beating these teams, Mark. We should be beating them.
No doubt Bodo Glimp are a good enough team. One of the things I hark on about, Paul, well organised, well drilled. They all knew what they were doing as a team and their individual game plans. But Celtic should be beating them.
Do you get me? They had a vision. They had the proper people there.
But Celtic should be beating them. There's no doubt about it.
Like they have, like this is a team, Mark. I said to you who only have a budget, Mark. We say of 10 million, and they promote their youth systems. Every time a young player leaves, they like Ajax, Mark. Do you get me?
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
It's
Paul,
the proper way, Mark.
20 years ago that we put Ajax out of Champions League, didn't we? In qualifiers. Would you fancy playing Ajax in Champions League qualifiers now?
We get hammered. I wouldn't, Mark. Wouldn't mind if Bassi was playing a centre back, yeah, grand.
Aye. Just for 15 minutes too.
That was a dirty tackle, Mark. He did yesterday. Dirty tackle.
But they've got away with that in Scotland.
One thing, Mark, I want to ask you, right, and it's totally off Celtic, and it's about a referee who we hated up here in Scotland. It was Bobby Madden's first game yesterday. The red card that he showed. A lot of people saying, "Oh, Bobby Madden, blah blah blah." But if you look at it, I don't think he had any choice sending that player off yesterday. He kicked the ball away twice.
I didn't see it, Paul.
Don't see it, no?
No, I didn't know anything about it.
It was a free kick, right? It was Brentford against Huddersfield, I think. And the Brentford player, it was a free kick. The Brentford player kicked the ball away. Grant Bobby Madden came over, booked him, walked away. The player then, another Huddersfield player came up and the man made it look like he stamped in his foot. He kicked the ball away again and then he went down, then trying to pretend he was injured. Do you mean the rules of the game, Mark? You can't kick the ball away. Bobby Madden took out the card, sent the player off. You know what I mean? And I was looking going, but he was right.
Say that's not the rules then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but he was doing these things up in Scotland, Mark, and he wasn't getting, like, because how many times did we see them kick the ball away against Celtic in a free kick and he didn't, like, do you know what I mean? So he does know the rules, and this is the first red card, Mark, I saw Bobby Madden show in a long time in the fucking match, you know?
Right, well, said there, it just shows you what he was all about up here.
Yeah, definitely. Another rumour, Mark, that has been circling around is that former Celtic CEO Peter Lawwell could be returned to the club after 17 years. Peter stepped down as Celtic CEO only 12 months ago. Peter Lawwell is still actually involved at the club as a non-executive board member. Peter Lawwell's son Mark is now involved at the club, Mark.
Oh, but that's so he can keep his place on that ECB board type, all the European thing, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't think he's actually getting much kind of.
No, he doesn't.
Just
a non-executive role, Mark, is basically, Mark, next to none. Do you know what I mean? You know, he has no run-ins, but could you think Mark David Desmond could do that to the fans and bring back Peter Lawwell after all the things last season with all the faces up with Celtic back?
I don't think so. I really don't, Paul. I just think it would be.
It'll be an up yours to the Celtic supporters, Mark, wouldn't it?
There's just, I don't, for the hassle that it would bring, why do something so controversial, Paul, when everybody's riding so high?
Mhm.
And as I said
Because
earlier as well, Paul, whether he's the CEO or whether he's going to be the new chairman, Peter Lawwell walks into that boardroom. Is Michael Nicholson going to back?
that's what I said, Mark. That
Do you
was
know
my
what I
next
mean?
point here. That was my next point here, was that if he did come in, Mark, do you
He'll
think
be
Peter Law's going to sit back? I think, Mark, he'll get involved in
Aye,
transfers.
he'll get
He'll get
involved in
involved in
everything.
Ange's business, and we'll be back to a scenario where there's no working relationship between Ange and the board.
Aye, that's what I totally agree with you, Paul. I think that's what would happen because Michael Nicholson's not going to back like go up against Peter Lawwell. And Peter Lawwell, that's sit down, son. I've done this for years.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You know, and that's the fear, Mark, I would have. Is
But
that
Paul, there's been no actual. It's all just kind of rumours that everybody in the press and the media and the Celtic fans on Twitter have just kind of jumped to this conclusion. There's been no actual anything, even hints for any kind of official ways of that it's going to be Peter Lawwell. Brian saying it's fake news and that, I agree with that. I think it's just.
Oh, definitely, Mark. These are the
I
people.
think I know it's something to talk
It was
about,
the
but I
Daily
think it's
Record,
just
Mark, that
something.
put it out there. It was the
Aye.
Daily Record that put it out there.
I just
You know?
think that it's something that just we're putting two and two together and think, oh, it's something to talk about while there's nothing much else to talk about.
But when
I
do
can't
we
see it
have to
happening.
give notice, Mark, to the stock exchange for this appointment? Because we'll have to have a chairman in place before the stock exchange opens for the calendar year.
Well, mind when this was going on with the CEO, Paul, there was something about there was 6 months needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that we said that if there was going to be a change, it would come about at this time when it was announced, and that's what happened. Whether I don't know, to be honest, Paul, I'd assume it's something like the same with the chairman's position. Do you need to give them 6 months?
They have to give notice.
I don't know
to
how
the
that
stock
would.
exchange.
But I don't know how that would work if it was a case of even like would bring him in the new. See, like we done with Nicholson. With Nicholson and Lawwell leaving, whether we would like bring in the new chairman, the new, and obviously that's getting announced. So you don't need to give them the 6 months notice. Do you get what I mean by that? But there's going to be there will be a time, and it's going to, for me, it'll be 6 months for that decision, that announcement the other day. It'll be 6 months for then that it needs to be done by.
I think, for me, Mark, we need to be keeping an eye on Dermot Desmond's son. If there's any movement from him in this diamond company, I'd be very interested there, Mark, because if he steps down, because he'll have to give notice there now as well. Do you get me?
Well, we wouldn't need to step down.
You know, he can't be a CEO of two companies.
He's not the CEO, he'd be chairman.
No, but I don't think you can, though, Mark, can you?
Don't see how, no.
No, I don't think you can be a chairman of well, I'll have to look into that, Mark, but I don't think you actually can. I don't think you actually can. You know?
Just see that then,
You know, I really don't.
Yes, you can have membership more than 5 boards.
5 boards.
Aye.
But like, would if say if he did hold that role, Mark, then like, but is he putting his full attention then into Celtic if he's doing? Do you know what I mean? You know?
Aye, but Paul, that's what I'm saying, Paul. Being the chairman of Celtic, that's not a full-time job. Do you know what I mean? They're only turning up for meetings and they'll get emails constantly every day to keep them in the loop and stuff like that.
But would he have to be? Would you like him to be in the country, though, Mark, based in the country, or?
Again, Paul, no, really, I don't think it really matters. Especially in this modern day and age, Paul, with all these Zoom calls and like what we sit and do. I mean, it could be face-to-face meetings over the internet, and then the paperwork gets emailed through, signed off. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
No, I just find it's an interesting topic, Mark. Who is going to be like this? Could be someone, Mark, who.
Well, I mean,
not
like,
involved in Celtic.
but
Like,
I
would
mean,
you be for that, Mark? Would you be for someone to come in that's not involved with Celtic, come in as an outsider, like Dominic McCurry, and had all these visions and it didn't work out? Or would you be for someone within our club to get promoted that way?
Oh, that's a hard one, Paul.
But we saw the mistakes that were made with McCurry, didn't we?
I know.
You know?
And
I
again,
think
Paul,
his biggest
I
mistake,
still
Mark,
can't get
was
my head around why that went wrong. after the due diligence and the meetings and everything that would have been done before he got appointed.
Well, Mark, the one thing that got me anyway, because of that, Mark, is, and fair enough, like Barry said, he's a season ticket holder of Celtic and stuff like that, but it's still a different role than what he was used to. Do you get me? He came from a rugby background. He came from finances and rugby, and finances and rugby, Mark, are kind of done within the rugby union. Do you get me? Like the contracts are done by the rugby union. You go to the rugby union with in Ireland here. We say if a player signs up for Munster, he's signing up then to the Irish rugby union. Do you get me?
But Paul, to be honest, it doesn't matter if you're what he knows about football and stuff like that, because that shouldn't be the CEO's job.
Mm-hmm.
His job's to make his job. No matter what company you work in, if you're the CEO, your job's to make money.
Yeah, but Mark, this is a fellow who we don't know if it's to be true. Like this is a fellow when we found out afterwards, and this is coming from what's his name, Mark, the fellow from Man City, Fergal Harkin, out of his mouth, Mark, that a deal was practically done with himself and Dermot Desmond to come in as a sporting director at the time, director of sport at the time, and for McKay got involved, and Harkin just walked away from it, that he couldn't see a vision that Dominic McKay was given, couldn't see it. You know, this is coming from Fergal Harkin's mouth himself, Mark, and that did come out later on, and this is a fellow now, Mark, who's gone off the standardly edge as
Mironi.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, did we actually? Were we actually going down that route, Mark, as a director of football, Mark? And then when that fell through, it was just about right, just get the manager now.
Oh,
you know,
looks as if we were definitely looking at it, Paul.
Yeah, definitely, Mark. And I think he was the man. You know.
I think that was kind of for which came out after that. I think that's kind of a given now that it was going to be Fergal Harkin. Yeah, because he was in attendance, Mark. There were a few matches there too with what was his name, Mark? Itachi Koyora, the Japanese centre back. He was in attendance with him at a Champions League qualifier. Aye, that's
and
right.
And then the fella decided to go to Schalke. Do you know what I mean? You know, so did that deal fall through Denmark when
that maybe have been one of the reasons that fell through.
So that's why I think that fell through, Mark. That he said then Fergal Harkin said, look, I'm not going there. I don't want you to go there. Do you know? You know, because like all these stories come out, Mark, and I know some of them could be fake news and stuff like that, but this was out of Fergal Harkin's mouth himself.
I know.
So I think we're definitely going down a route as punting director of football at the time. Now, I think because Ange is running it so properly at the moment, Mark, that at the moment they're not going to look at that route. You know, but then
I still think you need to, Paul.
But then just my next comment was Denmark when Ange was asked about the fella Alex Reid that was supposed to come from St. Mirren, and I told you that he said, no mate, that's not me looking after that, that's Steve McManus. I'm slowly just concentrating on the first team. So that just shows, Mark, that Ange doesn't want to be looking after all these different departments of contracts and stuff like that. He just wants to concentrate on the first team, which should be his job.
Exactly. That's exactly it, Paul. And as I've said, what fans goes out and gets hit with a bus tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Where does that leave Celtic? We've put all our eggs in the Ange basket. Well, I think, say like Mark Lawwell and that, I think he's here for the long haul. Do you get that? He's one of these guys that he's going to be here and he knows.
But even at that, Mark, right, you think of it, right? If Peter Lawwell did come in, right? And if Mark Lawwell sees this player that he wants at Celtic and Peter Lawwell goes, guys, Peter Lawwell being Peter Lawwell, right? Okay? Who's number 3 down the list and what price is he? Which Peter Lawwell did, Mark? Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Who's on number 3? Do you think Mark Lawwell would stand for that when he's that? I don't. I think, Mark, he came to Celtic for a reason. Is when his father stepped down as CEO. That's when he came in. I can't see him having a working relationship with his father at Celtic.
No, and it's never good to work with family as close as that. It really isn't.
No,
I mean, it's all it takes is Peter to say, right, that's it. You're not getting any tea. Not getting any tea tonight.
Pinch of salt, like, you know what I mean? You know?
I don't see. Honestly, I think Peter Lawwell himself knows that his time's up at Celtic. Because I mean, I'm not wanting to say that he was arrogant, but he was a bit arrogant, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Mark, like,
Aye, so I think so there's no way.
Nowhere, Mark.
Aye, so there's no way that he's decided whether he's had a conversation with Dermot or whatever. There's no way that he's decided lightly to leave his post as Celtic CEO. Do you know what I mean? Because we know that he's fronted out a lot worse than what we went through last year.
I think, Mark,
do you know what I mean? And I think it was. I don't think it was really Peter Lawwell that made the decision to leave, Paul. I think it's Dermot that's made the decision.
Do you know what? I'm thinking the same with Bankier as well. I think it's Dermot Desmond
that's freshening things up.
That wants all this freshness up. That wants this up.
Lewis Ferguson for chairman.
You know, like, wasn't Peter Lordmark involved in the appointment of Malky McKay? And then we found out afterwards that it was Dermot Desmond that did like his ideas. Do you know what I mean?
Don Mackay, no Malky Mackay. Aye.
You know,
but that should have, Paul. But that should have all been. I mean, even at that, you've got the. That was a major blunder as well. So maybe that's Dermot Desmond laid that on low. Look, we can find a replacement for you, and you've come up with this guy. I just can't get on the same page with. Why did we get through this process in months of meetings, interviews, talks and all that, and we've appointed a guy that a couple of weeks into the job, I know that he's not capable of doing?
Yeah, exactly, Mark. But this is...
The big Alan Sugar finger pointing at you.
This is my point, Mark, of Dermot Desmond putting too much trust into Peter Lord. Do you get me?
But that's his job, Paul.
Yeah, I know
that's
that.
What I mean. That's what a CEO's job is. They've got to have the trust to do.
What was that Dermot Desmond fault Denmark in letting that and not kind of keeping his eye on the ball as well? Could you blame Dermot Desmond for that?
Well, you've got to blame Dermot Desmond to a certain extent, Paul. That he didn't ask. Well, we don't. Maybe he obviously must have asked him questions about. Why are we not getting into this champion? Why are we not prepared enough to get into this Champions League? What can we do? What can we do to make it?
That Dermot Desmond is happy losing 40 million for the last 10 years.
I mean, imagine Celtic could even get into. Imagine Celtic could get into that Champions League for 7 or 8 years. The money that we'd have.
Yeah.
And I've said that before, Paul. For me, it's a complete and utter dereliction of duty. For any business for their board to act the way the Celtic board have acted over the last decade or so.
Ajax make sure. I know now I don't think they go through the qualifiers anymore either, Mark, do they?
I don't think so, no.
But at the time, Mark, they did.
Right, Brian, thanks for joining us, Brian. Enjoy your work,
always
bud.
made sure, Mark, that they qualified for the Champions League. Do you get me? They made sure they were equipped to qualify for that Champions League. They got their business done early in the transfer windows. Celtic under Peter Lordmark got their transfers done last week of the season of the transfer window. And if you were lucky, then we got 2 loan deals. Do you know what I mean? I'm expecting, Mark, one more side to come in the next 2 weeks.
We were waiting to see if we were qualifying. We were waiting to see when the Premier League released their squads, who was available on loans in the last minute and stuff
Denmark,
like that.
And then we're stuck with a loan deal that we filled that space then, weren't we? You know, I'm expecting one more deal to come in. You know,
I think there may be more than that, Paul.
Do you think so? What positions, Mark?
I still think I still think there's something in that with wee Fanny.
Definitely, yeah. That's not going away, Mark.
No.
You know?
I think that'll come to a head after what's happened at Clubburn Israel.
Like, there's a rumour now as well, Mark, saying that he wants to leave.
It seems like that for the other. Paul, reading between the lines, I think they've told him, look, you can leave when. I'm not sure whether it was the Champions League
qualifiers, yeah.
Whether it was
first.
Aye,
it's like us, Mark. Well, we're just speaking about Celtic.
Aye. So I mean, if Ange wants a player, we don't need our Champions League squad to the 2nd of September or something like that.
Exactly.
So if that's the player Ange wants and it is going to go to the wire, let it go to the wire. And for what I've reading, Paul, the guy been promised that he'll be allowed to leave when the European fate's kind of settled. So, but they went through the other night, didn't they?
Yeah, no, the next round, Mark. But no, they're in. Is it the 3rd qualifying round?
Aye.
But Mark, is that rule finished now? That if he plays for them Is he cup tied now for
No,
Celtic? Or
no,
is it different when you get to the groups now, isn't it?
Aye. The qualifiers don't count anymore.
Yeah, the qualifiers don't count, didn't it? Yeah, the qualifiers. Because that rule was there before, wasn't it?
It used to be, aye. There was, certainly if you played in the qualifiers, you couldn't play in the tournament. But it was a few years ago, I think they'd done away with that rule because they realised it was a bit stupid.
It was, man, because, like, it could make or break a player's transfer, like, do you know what I mean? It really could, like, and then if a team
It's happened to a few players over the years, Paul. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but they were like getting played in qualifiers and it blocked them playing in Europe for their new team, and they knew it, and it was a kind of.
And then they didn't go.
The clubs were trying to piss them off a bit. Do you know what I mean? And some even the transfers cancelled because that was going to be them cup tied in that. Just some nasty. Well, we know there's a lot of nasty CEOs and managers and that out there that do things like that, but.
I think the shrewdest one out there, Mark, has to be Levy of Spurs. He's supposed to be a savage operator to deal with.
Aye. So is Peter Lawwell, Paul.
Mark. All his talk, Mark, you have to give him credit, like for the chance
Peter Lawwell was notoriously a tough negotiator, wouldn't he? I mean, we've saw it, we can go on about even what happened with John McGinn and all that kind of stuff, but to the other side, as you're saying, Paul, they go to some right good deals.
And
not just with players, Paul, when you look at the sponsorships we've had and stuff
and that's why, Mark, no, we're seeing clubs in Scotland, not just Celtic, this is because of Peter Lawwell, Mark, we're seeing clubs in Scotland, well,
we can ask for that. We can ask for that. Aye, we can ask for that. If we stick by our guns, we'll get to there or near a boots kind of thing.
I mean, Mark, like at that time, Mark, like Oyer and Christie in the last years of their contract, and we're getting 15 million between the two of them. Do you know, with add-ons. Do you know what I mean? With add-ons. Do you know what I mean? Like that's shrewd business. Like, you know what I mean? And I know for all his faults and stuff like that, Mark, but Celtic wouldn't be financially secure in that way only for Peter Lawwell. Do you get me?
His dealings in the like outgoing players, advertising, sponsorships and that. He kept us at the top of the game. We've had, what is it they call it? Blue chip companies, Paul. Adidas, we've had Nike. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? It's no
big companies, Mark. Yeah,
big companies. Blue chip. That's what you call the type of companies.
I saw that today. He ordered the new Rangers jersey, and it got delivered, and it was the Newcastle one that got delivered.
You're kidding. Did you see the one I put on my Discord? The woman ordered her kids strips, ordered Rangers strips, and a box of dog treats appeared. And Rangers have told her to contact the police. You need to contact the police.
Not that to contact the police. Like, what was that about? Like,
I don't know. I mean, do you know what I mean? That's a woman Rangers supporter asking our fellow supporters for a help out. She ordered the Rangers strips and sent a box of dog treats.
Do you know who I saw too, Mark? I
was going to say to him that I'll give you a tenner for the box of dog treats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. And Jordan would like them, and Jordan, I have a mate there in Ireland as well who's a dog. I can pass him some of the treats. Do you know what's...
Swap it. Send a Slim Fast. We'll get a box of Slim Fast for a box of dog treats.
It could be worse. We could be getting that. Do you know the basketball crowd, Mark? Jordan. They sponsor all the kind of basketball teams and all the baseball teams over in America, Jordan.
Nike Air Jordan.
Yeah, they're on. Nike now is taking off their things. It's actually, they have the Jordan sign on the Paris Saint-Germain jerseys now.
Aye.
As the maker, and it'll actually look nice, like that's what they...
No, I know. That was a big jersey, see, in FIFA, Paul. I think last season, that was a jersey that, see, if you go to it, you could sell it for like 5,000 coins. That was like a rare thing on FIFA. That's how I knew about that. It was a cracking looking strip tee, wasn't it? But
yeah, it was. Yeah, I saw it there the other day, but it looked really, really nice. You know what I mean? Really, really nice. So, before we move on, lads, if there's anything you guys in the live chat want to say, anything about the game this week, next week's game, is there any changes you would make? Myself and Mark just think maybe next week's game might suit you, Marcus.
I wouldn't like to see the wee Argentinian boy getting a debut up
No,
there, Paul, and getting kicked
no.
up and down the place,
I think, Mark, he needs to.
up in the freezing cold.
I think he needs to get used to Ange's system, and like he was getting pelters during pre-season, Mark. He's not even in the club a month.
And he's only a kid. I mean, what age is he,
20,
Paul?
yeah, and he speaks no English, Mark, either.
Aye,
Speaks no English.
Aye, I still say, as I said earlier, Paul, for me, Greg Taylor is still our number
I think
one
so,
left
Mark.
back.
Yeah. Mark, to be fair, Taylor has done nothing wrong to lose that position. And I mean, Taylor today, Mark, anytime I see him, he seems to be getting fitter and fitter. Do you know, I complained last season, Mark, and to be fair, Mark, I think it was rightly so at the start of last season. I said, at the moment, Craig Taylor's not suited to Ange's system. And I don't know what happened to Mark come the turn of the year. It was just a different Craig Taylor.
It just seems to have clicked, didn't it?
Yeah.
Really, it did. Just whatever Ange's getting him to do and getting him to work on to improve his game, it just seems to be working a treat.
Yeah.
I know I'm a big Taylor fan, I keep saying that, but I don't think I'm getting overboard in saying that. I actually thought today was one of his best performances in a Celtic jersey, Paul.
Even Mark, what I said to you.
Just the both sides of the game, the defending and the attacking.
Yeah, remember I said to you, Mark, when there was a comment coming in there from Ange was talking on the Celtic TV, and he said that Taylor was a big person in the dressing rooms, speaking wise, that he was a big person. And I noticed that today, Mark, when I put in that cross, and there was no one in there.
Aye, but you could tell as well, Paul, that he was that type of guy, because see if there was any kind of wee skirmishes on the pitch and that, he was right in the middle of it, protecting his teammates and square. So although he's a wee guy, he's not got. I don't think he's a kind of shrinking violet. If he's got something to say, he'll be saying it and stuff like that. And that's a sign of a good team as well, Paul.
I know. One thing, Mark, I wanted to ask you, actually, and I forgot to do it during the
William Budd
was the Cal McGregor role. Are we still comfortable with him today, Mark, after this performance, or do we still need someone there in that role?
It's just, Paul, the defensive side there, it's just, it gives me the fear when we come up in Europe.
Because we saw those passes getting through today, Mark, with Aberdeen run, and that was through the midfield. Do you know what I mean?
It's just, it's probably the days in there, Paul, in Scotland, but see when we get into the Champions League, I don't want Callum McGregor to be that man, that kind of defensive midfield protecting the defence in that, Paul. It's just, we'll get slaughtered, we really will, I think.
And another thing, Mark, is I don't think there's going to be much of a future for James McCarthy.
No, I was surprised to see him not on the bench today.
If Aaron Moy came on there, Mark, and took up his place on that bench today, Mark, you know what I mean, if there's any players suited now at the moment, if we're going to take off Callum McGregor, Mark, it's going to be McCarthy with Gucci being injured, and he wasn't even on the bench there to be considered that. So if he
which is weird, Paul, because he's been on the bench during pre-season.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying, Mark. If McGuire picked up an injury today, out of a bench that came on, Aaron Moy could have stepped in there, but it's not a position that Ange signed him for. We're really stuck in that position, Mark, for, like, there's only one, we're saying that Ange wants 2-3 people for every position. It's the one position where everyone's confused by, and there's only one player that Ange at the moment has considered with it, and that's Cal McGregor.
Aye.
You know, it really is.
I mean, do you fancy getting up against your Real Madrids or Liverpools or?
No. No, and I found it very interesting.
No, I mean, let's be honest, right? They'd beat us anyway, but just if you were getting in there with a big, like, I don't know, somebody like Wanyama, that kind of guy, fair dues, but we're no, do you know what I mean? No. Just it just doesn't suit that defensive role.
The thing that got me is during pre-season when Ange was questioned about that. Does he need this physical player? And he said, no, it's not the way I play. I don't play with physical players. I want things on the ball. So he's thinking.
You can be a physical player, Paul, and still be able to play football.
Yeah,
you can be a good football.
But that's not Cal McGregor, Mark, is it?
No,
he can't tackle.
No, that's what I'm saying. Aye.
You said last week.
I mean, I'm not talking. But see, when I was saying about a big physical presence, I'm not meaning I'm just a big clogger that's going to just beat boot
No.
folk up and down the park, Paul. But just somebody like that can have a bit of dig, put in a tackle
this
and
fella
stuff
Abdu,
like that.
Mark, this fella Abdu, I think could be that person that we need. Because we definitely need to sign someone there, Mark. And I think that's the only
What is it you
weakness.
say Dan's caused them? A defensive attacker or
Defensive
something like
attacker. If we say when we're all pushed up, right? Okay, Callum McGregor staying back. All right, this is the role he's playing now, Mark. He's staying back, and if they get the ball and if they walk the ball out, we say like if they're not going to like not Ross County, no, Mark, because Ross County will boot the ball the minute they get it. But if you're like Rangers or you're playing in the Champions League, they're going to play their way out. Do you get me?
Aye.
So what Ange wants is he wants a player, an attacker, that sits back and attacks the ball. Do you get me? He attacks from the front. So he's the last. It's a defensive attacker. He called it. You know.
But would that see like that is but would that not be somebody that can sit back and like ping 40-yard passes about a park, Paul?
But he doesn't want them to sit back.
No,
man,
but that's what I
because-
know.
yeah,
But see when you're saying
yeah,
that an attack, that's kind of into it. But it's a bit of a contradiction.
yeah,
If you're looking for an attacking defender, right? If it's a full back position, you're looking for an attacking defender. We can understand that. But this other thing, for me, if you're an attacking defender, you're a centre half, and it's like you can like ping passes about the pitch and long range passing, accurate passes. I don't know, understand
Look,
that at
if
all.
you look the way we're playing now, right? When we don't have the ball, today Cameron Vickers and Welch were in the midfield circle in their half. So realistically, Mark, if you come to think of it, right, they're your two defensive midfielders. All right, Joe Hart then is coming up to break that space between them. Do you get me? So he's the sweeper keeper. So
So
what's
who's this other guy?
he's in front of Vickers and Welch. He's the last man before the attack. Do you get me? Before they attack, he's there to break up their attack before they get to Vickers and Welch. Do you get me? So that's the position that Ange wants. He doesn't want what would we say? He doesn't want Vickers and Welch to push up to that role. So he's missing that. Because you saw today, Mark, Welch got caught because Welch pushed up into that role to stop the attack. And then, remember, Cameron Vickers was on his own. Do you get me?
Aye.
So that's how we got caught there, Mark, is because Welch had to push up too much because Callum McGregor was supposed to be in that role, but because Callum McGregor wasn't that role, Callum McGregor using his attacking instinct, Mark, is going to push up more. Do you get me? So he's missing this last player.
That's one of my big worries, Paul, if we're going to try and better ourselves in Europe, with the way Ange does play the game. I know it's nice to see it at Celtic Park when we're playing against Scottish teams, but Brendan Rodgers went toe to toe with PSG and we get pumped with toe to toe with
What if we're coming
Barcelona.
up against the likes of Mbappe, the likes of
Aye.
Vinicius Junior from Real Madrid, Mark, and if they do bypass this attack that we have, this defensive attack that we have, Vickers and Welch aren't going to have the legs to get back against that. Do you get me?
I mean, just that you're saying that there about Mbappe. I mean, the speed. Imagine the speed of him. Imagine McGregor trying to cover Mbappe on a run through the midfield.
I just tell you, Mark. Look up. I'll get a clip of Maida.
Oh yeah, well, Gucci.
But I always said, Mark, that Gucci was signed for that
aye.
one because you saw it in pre-season, Mark, and I said it to you in pre-season. Gucci's breaking up their attack on their half. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone thought Gucci was this defensive midfielder. I was like, he's not a defensive midfielder. Gucci will stop the attack. That's what he's there. We saw Bisson trying to do it last season, but the reason Bisson couldn't do it, Mark, is because he didn't have the legs. Bisson's not the fastest player. Do you get me?
Aye.
You know, Bisson's role, Mark, is.
But he could read the game. Beaton
Yeah.
read the game well, so
He
that
read the
kind
game,
of covered that.
and that's why he was there to cover it. Yeah, exactly. You know what Bisson did, Mark. He narrowed the angle.
I mean, as you said as well, during pre-season, Ange did he messed about with like a two-man defensive midfield post. So
One
maybe
thing,
that is
Mark, is he thinking
going
about
to be
that
his
for the
plan.
Champions League? Yeah,
Maybe
that's
going
what I said.
4-2-3-1 for the Champions League.
Easy, because there was no other reason, Mark, why he was playing McCarthy and Gucci together. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not his style, really, is it? To play two defensive midfielders together.
So maybe that is something that he's going to maybe look at, Paul, for like the Champions League games.
You know,
he'll need to think of something.
Well,
Whether it is a new signing to play in that position, or somebody to play, he's going to tweak things and play somebody in beside McGregor or something. But
well, Mark, it's a really.
And let's face it, Paul, he's not stupid.
It's attractive to see it, all right. But as you said, Denmark, if it goes wrong, it goes horribly wrong. Do you get me? It doesn't go wrong. Oh, they scored a goal. It really does look embarrassing. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
You know, is Paul now writing as well?
Welshie. Because Welshie mentioned Gucci.
Oh man, Gucci's the man, boy.
We've been on air now for an hour and 34 minutes, and we've not even heard it once tonight, Paul. We bit of Toby love. Eh?
I was actually, Darren O'Dea said they won 2-2 there at the weekend, I think, Mark. And
they drew 2 each.
2 each, yeah, that's what I was saying, 2-2. And Darren O'Dea said that if they play the way they played in that game, they'll win a lot more games. Darren O'Dea said that the Celtic B team are now starting to get the grips with the way they want to play. And as young players, they're learning more and more. And Ange actually popped down to him on Thursday to observe the trading things with Harry Kewell. Harry Kewell was with him, you know, to actually see, Mark, if they're actually playing the way he wants them to play. You know, I bet you Toby wasn't making these mistakes that Joe Hart was making with the ball. Guarantee you that.
What would Tariq Kewell know?
I mean, Harry Kewell is supposed to be regarded as a good coach, Mark. Not so much of a manager, but a lot of people have said that Harry Kewell is a good coach. You know.
I just don't like him. Know what I mean?
I know. It's the same with me with John Kenny. Just don't like him. You know.
But you're just jealous of John Kennedy.
Not at all. I could do John Kenny's job now with my eyes closed, boy.
No, you're jealous of him.
Do you know what?
Because he's a big, handsome looking man, Paul. You're sitting there with your wee man bun.
Mark, do you know what I was thinking there today? Gavin Strachan.
Looked like a wee Jakey, didn't he? That's what I said.
Gavin Strachan giving out the instructions today, you know, on the laptop. Can you imagine me with my notepad the way I want to know. Go to the notes.
A big A4 pad you stole out of
the
work.
ball will go out and the player will go. I can go on. No, I'm not finished the notes yet. There's another 2 pages to go through.
I wrote about this 3 weeks ago. Wait till I look back.
Well, I mean, then I go back to episode 32 and I go back
32.
This is from last season where we started making these mistakes, and now I just flick up to episode 91 when we have the things connected.
But I've said as well, Paul, right, we're talking about wee baby Stratton. It's him that's giving the subs their instructions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? That wasn't happening under Neil Lennon.
No, he sees it, Mark. Like
that's his job, Paul. He's telling them we're getting penetrated here. We're a bit weaker here, so I need you to do this, blah blah. That's what his job is today.
But that's what I said to you there about the substitution when J. Marcus came on and Radisson came on with him. That data's there. That fucking Radisson provides J. Marcus with assists. Do you get me? The data's there, like, so. It's Gavin Strachan that's giving this data. Do you know what I mean? He knows that this is what you want to do. Like this is where he's going to be in this position. This is where we want you to put the ball when you're here. Do you get me? You know, that's his job. He's not there to coach the players, Mark.
I said, Paul, at the time we assigned him, again, people know that's jobs for the boys, it's this and that. Gavin Strachan was one of the most respected data analysts in the game down in England.
So then the club
it was just that Neil Lennon didn't know what to do with the information he was giving him. Neil Lennon didn't believe it, basically, I think, Paul. old school manager. I don't need to bother about all this data stuff and what
Do you
computers are
believe that
telling
Marco
me.
didn't have a clue about it?
Probably, aye. Well, maybe that's a bit more accurate,
Mm-hmm.
Paul. That he didn't actually understand it.
You know, like, what was I going to say there? Didn't
And then
the
he
club
caught his
last season, Mark,
that-
come in for Gavin Strachan, didn't they? And he turned them
Aye.
down. He wanted
There
to
was a
stay
couple.
with Celtic.
He got an offer of a manager's job somewhere,
Mhm.
didn't he? And an offer of another couple of jobs.
I
in
actually
coaching
don't
staff.
think that, Mark, do you know what I mean? The game has moved on, and I don't think the type of manager that Ange is, Mark, I don't think Ange will be able to do his job without having Gavin Strachan there.
No,
You know?
no, it's an integral part of modern day kind of coaching in that, Paul. That's
Mhm.
it's part of modern football, sir. If it wasn't
Cause-
Gavin Stratton, it would be somebody else.
You know, because back in the day, Mark, like, these fellas were sitting in an office, they weren't near the sidelines. Do you get me? These
Aye.
weren't there, and all they were doing was they.
It was merely it was at training. They used it.
Training,
They
they used to have
with
the GPS in the
data.
training,
Aye,
and all they monitored back then, Mark, was
And now they're just
their
doing it.
movement and their speed. Now they're looking at their predicted their predicted pass positioning where they need to be. I mean, everything is done, and there's still, Mark. You still see the Scottish League. You still see the assistant manager with the notepad. So a lot of clubs don't have these people in their club still.
No,
Do you know what I mean? You know, they really, really don't. That's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back again during the week with another podcast. Mark will let you know on Twitter when we'll be on, but we'll definitely be here next Sunday. We have a match analysis of Ross County. Hopefully we might have new signings, and Peter Law rumours will have to be died down by then. As Brian said,
Welsh's been appointed chairman.
imagine it, geez.
Can you imagine
Christ.
it?
There'd be free beer in the fucking whole Celtic Park. You know, San Miguel, we'd be sponsored by San Miguel. You know?
Just standing section, just rip the seats out everywhere.
Jesus Christ, new facilities for the Rangers fans to drink. He's after doing up new toilets from there. You know,
He's moving up to Edinburgh, do you know what I mean? He's been up for the last week. And I mean, see guys like Welsh and that, the hours they put in, Paul, to follow Celtic.
oh, ridiculous. I saw him there today.
I mean, there
Fair
he
dues
was,
to Welchie, boy.
he was out
Fair
for
dues.
your own time this morning. Wee David's running about with him now, sir. That'll be David getting a divorce shortly as well, I take it. Now that he's joined up with Welsh at the Coventry Emerald Day. But, I mean, he said there earlier, Paul, he'll be getting home to 1 o'clock in the morning. And then he's to be back out to get a train back up to Edinburgh for work for at 7 o'clock or something like that. I mean, that's devotion, isn't it, bud? You know what I mean?
That's
Travelling that
Celtic
kind of.
support, Mark, isn't it?
That's it.
It's,
All the guys that travel off the island, and you'll be one of them soon as well, bud. You know what I mean?
Here it is, lads. Thanks very much. Mark, we close the show.
Right, thanks, Paul, for everything you do, bud. You know, so I appreciate it. Everybody that's joined us a live chat, I hope you've enjoyed it. There's a couple of new faces in. I hope you have enjoyed it as well. Please remember, hit the like button, share it, subscribe if you've not as well. And please remember, if you can afford anything, the link to Steph's charity page for his walk for St Andrew's Hospice is in the description box. If you can afford anything, it would be great to help him out. Hail, hail, lads. Good night. God bless.